Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Biohazard 3 Real Survival. And in the last episode, Jill and I made it all the way to the end of the east area of the Raccoon City Park, but our way was blocked by a gate that's chained and barred to us, and the key that we retrieved from a deceased mercenary did not open said gate, but instead was necessary to opening the gravekeeper's area near the graveyard in the western area of the Raccoon City Park, which is pretty much where we are now. And lo and behold, it appears there's also a secret hideout that is being used as a staging ground by the monitors that have been planted within the U.B.C.S unit. But we're here now, so let us take a look around. I wonder. Aha! There's some grenade rounds. Excellent. Good to know. Just combine those together. 14 grenade rounds. That's actually pretty reasonable. Seems to be a place to store weapons. Well, it was until we took the grenade rounds. See if there's anything else on there. No, there is not. Now there is an operations table laid out in the middle of the room. Not that Jill has anything to say about that, nor of the operation map on the wall. But there is a shiny object on the corner of the table here, which just so happens to be another park key. This one very reminiscent of the old keys in the mansion, as well as the small keys, the small keys in the mansion and the old keys in the Raccoon precinct. Now, if we examine this key just a little bit more thoroughly, a small key with an iron ring attached to it. It says rear gate on the ring. That is our way out of here. That is good to know. Now there are quite a lot of documents and diagrams here on the in this particular room, but let's have a look at this one first. Supervisor's report. The endurance ability of the contaminated guinea pigs is truly incredible. Even when shot in a vital area, they can sometimes survive for several days without taking care of the wound. However, after prolonged exposure to the virus, the guinea pig's intelligence level decreases to that of an insect. Even though reviving the dead seems too disgusting, the virus may still be of use. If we inject the virus into our POWs and release them, they will return to their units and then turn into zombies. This plan may work well for us in the future. In certain areas, the virus seems to have caused the mutation of animals and plants. It may be difficult, but it'll make a good sample for the bioweapon development. I've heard that there is a giant alligator, but I've only encountered a giant creature moving underground. I don't even want to imagine what creature spawned that monster. I encountered Nemesis. If I didn't know about it, I would have been contaminated and would have become one of them by now. If it is still walking around in the city, its mission is not yet over. STARS members must be very tough, since they have survived until this point. However, they cannot hold out forever. And thus the supervisor's report has been filed. And we actually inferred quite a bit from that particular document. First of all, the monitors seem to have a very interesting application of the T-virus, which kind of goes hand in hand with Umbrella's application of the T-virus thus far. deliberately injecting the virus into prisoners of war and then having them transmogrify into zombies the moment they are returned to their units, which is abhorrently morbid, to say the least, but not entirely beyond the reach of Umbrella to do something so heinously underhanded. It also begs the question of the term guinea pigs. Something tells me that the guinea pigs in question aren't in fact enemy agents, but rather the mercenaries that serve as the rank and file of the U.B.C.S. as a whole, as in those that were not specifically selected to be monitors. Pretty much people like Carlos and Mikhail in that sense. We also had a bit of a reference to the giant alligator from Biohazard 2 lurking beneath the sewers of Raccoon City, which at this point is pretty much lying dead down in the sewers thanks to the efforts of Leon and Claire, which is a good thing. But we also had a mention of what can only be inferred as the giant worm-like creature that we've had the misfortune to run into previous times. And the final note is the fact that this report finally gives Jill Valentine the first real truth of the identity of the creature that's been hunting her this entire time, the enhanced tyrant bioweapon codenamed Nemesis. Now, of course, you and I are already familiar with Nemesis's codename, but this is indeed the very first time in which we were actually told it in the supervisor's report. And of course, it could very well be that this report was in fact written by our devious friend Nikolai Zinoviev, which definitely would explain his initial hostility towards Jill Valentine on the tram car. Allying himself with her could potentially put him in the sights of the Nemesis and would ultimately make him a secondary target, very similar to Carlos at the St. Michael's Clock Tower. And of course, it goes without saying that if Jill and I are unable to kill Nemesis in Raccoon City once and for all, there will be nothing to stop Nemesis from hunting down the surviving members Chris, Barry, and Rebecca over in Europe, as we currently have no way to warn them of the danger that hangs over them like the sword of Damocles. Very, very ominous. Now, before we go over there, Jill, probably a good idea to check the uniforms on the table here. Or, not table, what am I talking about? In the pocket of the camo vest, which is, of course, another series of ink ribbons. Like so. There is another document on this blackboard here. Now, this is interesting. Facts from the HQ. Attention. The Raccoon City project has been abandoned. Our political maneuvering in the Senate to delay their plans are now futile. All supervisors should evacuate immediately. The U.S. Army is going to execute their plan tomorrow morning. The city will be obliterated at daybreak for sure. That is ominous on two fronts. First of all, that is actually our first real link with the corporation for quite some time. The other, of course, being the orders that were found in one of the rooms of the mansion, linking Albert Wesker to the division of the Umbrella Corporation known as White Umbrella. But this is actually straight from Umbrella headquarters themselves, which definitely does not bode well for the corporation were we to present this fact to the appropriate authorities. What I'm concerned with is the timing of this document. The city will be obliterated by daybreak for sure. Now, we don't know which day that is. Yeah. Oh, we don't even have a time frame. But all we know is that the city will actually be hmm, stormed by the United States military, it seems. So the Umbrella Corporation aren't the only players on this particular stage after all. Looks like others have their hand in this, and there is another dead mercenary. Um, who does not appear to have anything on him. Also, there is a cardboard box there with Umbrella's patented logo on it. There is also a communications device over here. It's set to the auto-receive mode, which means that, like the communications equipment over in Star's office, we cannot use this to send messages, we can only receive. But it is, I think we are pretty much done with this secret hideout, but we actually learned quite a bit, and none of it bodes well for us in any event. So without further ado, let us go back into the main hall. A message.
All supervisors, mission terminated. Return immediately. Repeat. All supervisors return immediately. Over. Don't!
Yeah, it looks like Umbrella is scrapping all of its plans concerning Raccoon City. The monitors are to be recalled post-haste. That also does not bode well. But little do they know that Nikolai has been picking off the other monitors for his own personal gain. Without further ado, let's head back into this other room.
I'm quite impressed you've managed to stay alive up until now. Wait!
And you seem to be doing a pretty good job of looking out for yourself. How about helping out?
I have no intention of helping you.
Oh! Because we're nothing but pawns in all this?
In a manner of speaking, you are. Our employers wanted the detailed analysis of the zombie beings which were created through infection by the T-virus.
Voice.
You're saying that they deliberately sent in a military unit to be butchered by their creations?
Voice.
Not exactly. Although the conditions encountered on this operation were extreme, it was an unexpected outcome that the team would be wiped out. We were only required to collect live data from the subjects.
Ah!
Another mutant! What?
Well, he's gone, and I do not trust his logic one teensy tiny little bit. Even though he claims that it was an unexpected outcome that the U.B.C.S. platoons would be wiped out by the horde of T-virus zombies, yeah, make no mistake, Umbrella had no intention of having the rank and file U.B.C.S. members come back alive safe and sound. Yeah, I do not trust Nikolai on that front at all. And he is also still working for his own personal gain. However, unbeknownst to Nikolai, the Umbrella Corporation is not above, well, doing to him what he is doing to them, especially should they find out. Although I'm pretty sure that Nikolai is quite aware of that particular fact. given his personal distrust of absolutely everything except himself. But what's even more worse is the fact that the building was shaking right before he left. And once again, apologies. This is what happens when you have nothing to work with but an emulator, at least for the time being. But yeah. And that is the door to the save room. Just making sure that we weren't turned around. That does not bode well in the slightest. But you know what? I think that sense of foreboding means that it is a another good time to save our progress. And yes, I'm aware that my rank is pretty abysmal at this point, but this isn't about rank, this is about survival. As it has been from the very start, and as it will be at the end. So that is going to be it for this particular episode of Let's Play Biohazard 3 Real Survival. And when we return, hopefully the emulation glitches will have resolved themselves momentarily, and also the fact that Jill and I will have to go back outside if we want to get to the rear entrance of the Raccoon City Park, and in order to do that, we're going to have to fight whatever it is that caused the building to shake. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.